Hey everybody, and welcome back for yet another retro game and toy hunt. And this week we're at Toy Buzz and Fizz, which as you can see is a toy store, but it's also a candy store. And yeah, this place is basically just a combination of a bunch of collector's toys and retro stuff, along with sodas and other various sugary treats that you probably shouldn't eat too much of if you're over 30 like I am. But yeah, you can get all the wax fangs and Stuckey's pecan logs that you want here, along with all of your other various toy and action figure needs. It's a recipe for disaster, especially for me, because it's very hard for me to walk out of these places without getting a handful of various types of candies, like Pop Rocks and wax fangs and God knows what else. But you know, I'll try my best to make it through. But enough about candy, let's get over here to some toys, starting off with these Super 7 Turtles, which are supposed to resemble the original Turtles line back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I love these things. I have so much nostalgia for that original Turtles line that came out like the first couple of waves. Those are some of my favorite toys ever. They are just so iconic to me. But yeah, real quick, before we get too in-depth in these toys, this store, Toy Buzz and Fizz, was actually originally located over on the far west side of Indianapolis. I believe they were in Avon, and they were back in this kind of area that it wasn't really too clear on how to even get to their store. It was like one of those places that if you knew where it was, you could get to it, but otherwise, even if you looked at it on a map, it wasn't very clear which part of the building it was in. It was like sharing it with a large church or something like that. But yeah, now it has moved to a much more accessible location, now just over on the west side of Indy. I think it's still considered Avon, but it is now located in a large strip mall at the very end, and this new location is much improved over where they used to be, and they've actually got way more room here as well. Their old store was just kind of smallish, like they did well with the room they had, but like there wasn't much. But this has multiple rooms, and it's very well merchandised all the way through. But let's get back to the toys, and they do have a good selection around here, including a lot of statues, as you'll see as we go through the rest of the store. They're just kind of everywhere, up on the walls, on the shelves, everywhere. There's a good chunk of them, and what's in the case later on, some really neat stuff. Of course, the candy is omnipresent around here, as are Squishmallows. I mean, those are everywhere. You can't get away from these things. They did have some of these little Cuphead stuffed toys over here that I made sure that they were well represented. You know, they can't be laying down. We got to make sure that they are up and going, especially when they're sitting next to Squishmallows. That's some good competition these days. They've also got a good chunk of Marvel figures over here, and you know, I'm just not the biggest Marvel fan, but I've been told that I need to focus more on Marvel stuff when I'm doing these videos, because some people out there do actually like things that I'm not into, which is insane to me. But here you go. Here is all the Marvel figures that you could possibly ask for in a video. And I promise in future videos, I will try to do better at focusing on maybe some stuff that I don't generally get into. Speaking of which, here's the Star Wars stuff. Now, to be honest, I did almost get into collecting the Black Series here not too long ago, but I think it's a case of too little too late on my end, and now is probably a very bad time to get in on that series, but they're really cool. But the series that I am very excited about, and you should be as well, are these carded Simpsons figures. These are the classic line, and I love these things. I think I mentioned in a previous video of just how much I love these, and they still look so damn good. But if I didn't go into it before, the gimmick with these is that they would all have different things that they would say, as you can see kind of on like the picture on the bottom of them. Like, they all had these dioramas, which there's a few up here, and if you place them on these dioramas, they would all say something, and it was really cool. And these dioramas and stuff are really neat. Like, there's some like really deep cuts here, like the Krusty Burger joint, you know. It's awesome. Love these old Simpsons figures, If you ever get a chance to check them out, if you're a Simpsons fan, do so, because they are dead cheap. Like, they are never expensive. You can buy those things for like $5 a piece, and they're still around, which is crazy. But yeah, I can't say enough about those classic Simpsons figures. But I can certainly say a good deal about G.I. Joes. Now, this is another thing that I am not quite into. Just ain't collecting these lately, but I do appreciate classic G.I. Joe figures, especially these up here, like the Ninja Force and Battle Corps, and God, this Star Brigade one. Like, this is so cool. Like, there's something so like early 90s about these that it hurts. And yeah, I mean, a hot pink card, God, you can't beat that. And this was about the time that G.I. Joe was getting crazy. You know, nobody was really buying it anymore. So, you know, gimmicks were happening like these, where you have 3 battle commands or something. You know, there's just a lot of really weird stuff that kind of happened towards the end of the G.I. Joe toy line. It's worth checking these out. These are the ones that I would really get into if I did collect them, just because there's so many weird figures that came out in like the mid 90s or early 90s or so. But yeah, let's keep it rolling with a little walk around over here. And one thing that really caught my eye pretty quick were these full-size troll dolls, or whatever the hell they are, puppets, I don't know, but they're really cool. These are things that I just kind of want to lay in my bed, you know. I just have those there, you know, for the people that never come over to my house. If they did, that would be like the first thing I'd want them to see. And if they didn't, I'd point it out immediately. Also, I'd probably be wearing one of these kissed masks as I did, because that's just how we roll around here. Also got some classic Ghostbusters over here, the Fright Features ones. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of gimmicks and toys, but I did have a few of these as a kid because it just seemed fun. You know, having Ghostbusters freak out when they see a ghost or something, it just seems natural. Of course, it's always cool to see a replica Proton Wand and Slimer. It's looking pretty good, honestly. Not too bad. All right, let's walk over here now to the statue case, and this was really neat. Like, they had some pretty cool stuff over here. Now, I need y'all to tell me something in the comments. Are you a big fan of things like this? Like, are you into statues? It seems like there's a distinct separation between toy collectors and statue collectors. Like, there's the people that really like the figures, you know, being able to pose them, mess around with them, but then there's people that want this. I'd like to know, if you guys collect toys or anything, which side do you fall on? Do you want statues or do you want the figures? Now, me personally, I definitely fall on the figure side of things. I like to mess with them. I like to take them out of the package. I like to pose them the way I want them to be. And if I don't like it, then I can always repose them and do whatever I want with them. Statues, to me, are just more of something that, you know, they're not to play with. Obviously, you put them on a shelf, they look cool, but they look really cool. Like, I mean, look at some of these. You can't make a lot of these things, or a lot of action figures, look like these things. They're just amazing. But it's just one of those things that I never got into. It's just, they seem too static to me. Of course, you know, you've got custom stuff like this Leonardo, or Captain America Leonardo, but man, look at this zombie Iron Man. That is fucking awesome. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you are a statue guy or an action figure guy, or if you're neither, which you probably are, because this is a video game channel that really focuses way too much on toys instead. But yeah, I thought those statues were really cool. Anyway, let's get our bearings and walk around some more here. I'm not cutting this very much. I'm just giving you a tour of what we've got here at Toy Buzz and Fizz. Now, back here, they've got a big room where they do like their D&D stuff, board games. You know, a lot of these places do this kind of thing, and have kind of a room just dedicated to that. But they've also got this case filled with Legos back here, which had some really cool stuff. Now, I know some of these are very expensive sets, and there's a good reason why they are sitting behind glass case, because look at this Batmobile. That's awesome. I'm not a Lego person, but I would totally buy that. I don't think I'd ever get it together because my cats would constantly be breaking it or eating pieces, but man, that's tempting. And of course, they've got the Star Wars stuff down here, and you know, the X-Wing and the Millennium Falcon. All of these look very cool. Lego is one of those things, like statues, that I would like to get into, but it seems like not my thing that I need to do right now. Like, I would love putting these things together. That would be the most fun to me. But actually, like, keeping them on a shelf and making sure that they're not destroyed by cats or me being clumsy or something like that, that seems like a bad idea. So I kind of stay away from them. But I do like this old Connects Moonlander thing here. That was neat. Back here, we've got some Legos that are probably more my speed. A lot of these remind me of the Legos that I would get as a kid. Because you'd always go into a store, and I couldn't afford these things, obviously, but there would always be a pack for like $5, and it'd be like that little race car back there. You know, it's like, it's a race car, or it could be a tractor, or maybe a rocket ship. Use your imagination, you stupid kid. And that's what you had to do a lot of times when you just get a Lego set for $5. But yeah, love that stuff. And finally, back here, we've got a few video games. Nothing too crazy, some 360, PS3, DS, that kind of stuff. But we do have The Simpsons on the wall back here playing, and that's all that matters to me. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it, guys. This is a really cool little store, and especially if you didn't know about it before it made it over here to where it is now, you should check it out. Like, it's just a nice little place. It's got a nice community building up around it, and a lot of the people that work here are very cool people. Like, they've got some nice stuff in here, and yeah, I can't really say too many bad things about it. Especially when you got the whole front of the store filled with candy and soda. That is the first way into my heart. And they did that. They accomplished that. So congratulations, Toy Buzz and Fizz. You have moved me closer to getting the diabetes. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us this time, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next time with yet another retro video game and toy hunt.